Hey guys, so I've been posting a lot more videos lately on my Instagram and Facebook of just like me playing in a worship band on Sunday mornings. And you guys have been watching those and responding well to them. So thanks so much for giving me likes and reaching out and commenting on those. And many of you guys have talked about my tone and asked how do I get my tone and what am I running through right now. So I'm just going to do a quick video to share that with you guys. Basically, I kind of have three setups that I use when I'm playing guitar. I have my studio setup, which is an Axe FX2 right behind this camera, actually. I use that for recordings. I have my live setup that I've been using for church lately, which is this Helix Line 6 board. And then I also have my gigging setup, which is more like my live guitar, physical amp and pedal board, which is right here on the floor. I'm going to talk in this about the Helix because that's what I'm using in a lot of my worship videos. But all three of those setups are almost identical, and the way that I set them up is pretty much the same across the board. So let's go ahead and look at my Helix rig, though. All right, so this is how my chain in my Helix looks. So this is how I'm setting it up. If you guys want to download this, feel free to reach out, and I will make that available to you. The only thing that I purchased was like these two IRs that I have. I think I bought them from Chop Tones, I think is what it's called. And so I have these two IRs that I purchased and downloaded, but everything else is just stock right in the Helix. And so let's just break down the chain. The first thing in my chain is a pitch generator. So this is what I use for my dual octave, and I run that before my overdrives. It's the very first thing that is hit in the chain, and I split my chain right away, right off the beginning. So it's kind of like running an effects loop, so that my clean guitar tone goes down one chain, which is going to go into all these effects pedals here. And then the clean guitar tone will also go down another chain, which is going to be all my modulation pedals, which will be like my delays and reverbs. So I'll talk about the primary chain line first. So it hits this pitch pedal and it goes straight into my first stage overdrive pedal, which is I'm using a Minotaur. So that's like a clone of a Klon pedal. It's hard to say, a clone of a Klon. And I'll do that in pretty much any setup. So if I'm using like my Axe FX, I'll also find some type of a clone, or even on my pedal board, I typically use like either like a Morning Glory or a Walrus Audio Voyager or some kind of transparent overdrive because I can't actually afford a clone. Then I'm going into a slightly more saturated overdrive pedal. One that I discovered not too long ago, but I really love is the Zen Drive. So this is a clone of a Zen Drive in the Helix. It's called a Dyna Drive. And you can look at my settings here. I run these pretty low on gain. So like my Minotaur, my clone tone the gain is very low. It's actually 0.3, and my output level is very high at like 8.4, and it's kind of similar to here on the Zen Drive. I run the gain at 2 and my output level at 7.5. The Zen Drive is incredible, by the way, as a pedal, and any type of thing that you can find to replicate it in your processors. These are one of my favorite tones, to be honest with you, because it's just such a, oh my goodness, it's such a, I don't know, man, like pure saturated overdriven tone. Unlike these more transparent ones that have a little bit more of the rawness of the actual guitar, this saturates a little bit more, but in a really nice way, the Zen Drive. After that, I have it going on my Helix. I have it actually going straight into these, a chorus and a tremolo. Part of the reason why is because I can only have so many modulation pedals on the side chain and on the second level here. So I had to put them somewhere because I ran out of spots, and I figured this was the best way to put them is up here before I hit the amp. So basically as if it were on the end of my pedal board before I hit my amp. I don't use them very often though, so not a big part of my playing. They're off on most of my sounds, but basically I'm using just a flat out just chorus pedal, line 6 chorus pedal, nothing special there, and a line 6 tremolo pedal. So I'm not even using any of like their clones of more specific pedals. I just like to keep it simple. After that, it's gonna continue down the chain. This is just the volume pedal on the board. It goes into a matchstick, which is the Helix matchless clone. So I usually use 2 amps in my setup. I'll try to get some sort of Vox, or like AC circuit type amp, and some sort of Fender blackface type sound. So in the Helix, I'm using the matchstick channel 1, and I'm using as my second amp the Tweed Blues, so like a Fender Tweed amp. I mean, my whole idea is to try to get, like I said, either like a Vox or matchless, some type of like British amp tone mixed in with a more rounded Fender American, blues type tone. So on my Axe effects, I actually use, instead of the Fender Tweed, I'll use a Dumble clone, and I think I still use I might use the Vox as opposed to the matchless on my Axe effects. Then I have it going into, both of my amps are going into a 10 band EQ. I'm just making very, very subtle changes to the EQ, either boosting the low end or reducing some of the high end or the mids, depending on how I want those both to sound. But you can see they're like hardly affected. It looks like I'm basically just boosting the 250 and 500 hertz, and on one amp I'm lowering the 4K, so that top end. I then have it running into my IRs. Like I said, these IRs I purchased from Chop Tone. So this is Chop Tone. Oh my goodness, RPV3 1 and RPV3 2. I can't remember what they are. I wish I did, but they're probably some type of a greenback speaker. I don't remember when I bought them. I can't remember what I was looking for, but I like these IRs a lot. They're really cool. Even in my Axe effects, I also purchased from Chop Tone some different IRs. They have a great collection of impulse responses, and I'm so sorry that I don't know what these are. But like I said, I'm assuming they're probably some kind of type of a Celestion speaker. Then on this main chain, then I go into a reverb. The Helix Glitz reverb is what I'm running through at the end of my chain. And I don't put that in the side chain because I find for worship music in particular, you want it to really just, engulf your entire tone. So that's why I put it at the end of the entire chain here. And that's like the heavy worship reverb. That's kind of like your Strymon Blue Sky type clone, modulated, sparkly, flutter type reverb. And then have it running into a studio compressor. This is just to take the overall sound, tighten it up, make it sound even across all of my guitars, because I do change guitars a lot. Plus, I'm also programming this for other guitar players at our church, so this helps to just even that tone out across the board for all of our guitar players, no matter what you're bringing in, before it hits the front of house. Last, I put in a gain boost pedal here. This is just your typical clean gain boost. This is just if I'm going to hit a lead line or something and I want to boost my guitar. I hit this last, and then it goes out an EQ. I don't really use this. I actually put it on there, like I said, for other guitar players on our worship team, so like if they want to shape their sound a little bit before it leaves their board, if they're using like a Strat versus a Les Paul or whatnot, I threw that on there. So that's not even a part really of, I don't use it at all, because I kind of EQ'd the amps the way I wanted them to my guitars. And I'm running my amps, by the way. Both of them, if you look at them, they're almost identical. I'm running them on low drive, just like I do my pedals, and I run my master output high. So like in this one, I'm running my drive channel 2, my output 7.7. And on this one, I'm running my drive channel 2 as well, and my master on 8. So I'm definitely, you can see I have my preferences. I like to have most of my breakup come from the output volume, not the actual input volume or the gain structure. As far as my EQ on these, again, I'm rolling the treble off quite a bit, boosting the bass a little bit. Not really, it's kind of even at 5. I do have some presence involved in that one. I'm more presence in the Fender and I'm rolling back the bass in the mids, so I'm actually not getting some of that boominess from those blackface amps that they sometimes offer, and instead I'm trying to get more clarity. So I'm really, it's kind of weird because the Vox amps are known for their sparkly high ends, and I'm kind of cutting that actually that treble a little bit, and then I'm bringing it back in with the Fender. I don't necessarily have a formula for the how I blend these two amps. I just do it differently depending on what I'm feeling, you know, and what I think works. So it might look a little different in my XFX, and this might look a little bit different if I'm running stereo amps, live amps. So anyways, that's the main chain. My side chain now, I think my camera's about to die. That's okay. You guys can still see my my screen. So in my side chain, I'm running. Let me turn. Nope, wrong one. This one. Like I said, my reverbs and delays. I'm just running a plate reverb here to start it off. I leave this plate reverb on all the time. It's a real light reverb with a lot of decay, just to give it sort of a natural room sound. So the mix is only 20% and my decay is at 4, so it's relatively high on the decay, but like I said, I kind of mix it in pretty low just to give it some more natural body and room. My actual reverb effect really is coming from the glitz reverb here. So I'll run a plate reverb. Typically, like on my board, I'll do like an RV5 plate reverb, or in my XFX, I also just kind of run another just basic plate reverb. I have 3 delays, which seems like a lot. I wouldn't normally do that, except I don't ever run them all at the same time. And a lot of times this crisscross delay is actually put over here. So my first delay is a tape delay that I run at a quarter note value. And then my other delay is a digital delay that I run at a dotted eighth. I like to have the digital sound for my dotted eighth, so it's just a little sharper. And I like to have some type of analog or tape delay for my quarter note, so it's a little bit smoother. And I do run these in sync together so that I can get that typical worship delayed quarter over dotted eighth sound. And then I'll also, you know, sometimes just run the quarter or just the dotted eighth, depending on what I'm looking for. The mix on them is at 24, and this one is mixed in at 45. So the dotted eighth is typically louder than the quarter note. And then the crisscross delay that I sometimes throw in the main chain. This is like if I really need a super heavy, and it's a stereo delay, so it's got an eighth note over a dotted eighth note, so it's got 2 running at the same time, so it's kind of simulating this pattern here of quarter over dotted eighth all in one pedal. I don't use it very often, but like I said, if I need, if there's just a section of the song where the delay is sort of it's got like, you know, obviously like that edge type delay, and it's not an ambient delay, it's more of like the actual effect itself. And it's adding to the playing, then that's the crisscross delay that I'll use. And also sometimes we'll use it on swells and things of that sort. So this is just a really washy, much more present delay than my typical sound delay. So I use this as like an effect. I don't really run it that often unless I need it in that song. So anyways, and the way I set up my helix real quick, one last thing is I'll do these snapshots. So I have a verse snapshot, a chorus, and a bridge snapshot, which is virtually identical to my clean rhythm and lead snapshots. So my clean tone normally is I don't run any of the overdrive pedals, but I do turn on the boost pedal. So I get more gain out of the boost, which helps to even out the volume, the levels when I click onto like a rhythm channel, which has my stage 1 delay or my stage 1 OD on and no boost on. My lead would then be either of these stage 1 or 2 or both together with the boost on to give it extra volume to cut through. And then my stage 2 sometimes, so then depending on the song and what it's called for, sometimes I'll run, I'll just kind of program these snapshots to fit the song so that it turns on both of these or one of these plus the pitch, whatever. But yeah, that's my tone. That's my rig in the Helix. I will probably do another video like this, but with me actually playing guitar so you can hear what they sound like. And then I can go through also and do like my XFX and my my actual physical live amps, real amps. Thanks, guys, for reaching out and asking that question. And I hope this helps guide you in your guitar tone creation. Thanks again.